Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Today's guest is Glenn Sexton, Vice President and General Manager of Xerox Hawaii. Under Glenn's leadership, Xerox Hawaii has become the most productive Xerox organization with the highest market share in the United States. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio Vice President and General Manager of Xerox Hawaii, Glenn Sexton. Welcome to our show, Glenn.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us what you do as General Manager of Xerox Hawaii.
Well, Xerox itself is a multinational corporation of 53,000 employees worldwide. But here in Hawaii, we're also a local organization, very focused on our community here in the state. And what I do is really facilitate delivering value to our customers. And what I mean by that is product, technology, services. We are really a self-contained business unit here in terms of all the main functions we do here for our customers actually reside here in the state, rather than relying on sources far, far away.
You've been with Xerox for 27 years?
That's correct.
Was that like your first job?
Actually, it all began while I was at University of Hawaii. I was the parking lot attendant in the building that Xerox resided in at the time, and got to know a lot of the employees, and I thought, what a pretty neat company, and the people were very, very nice to me, and I had lots of conversations with them, and a couple of years later, I began working there in 1980 as a sales representative, as a matter of fact.
And then can you take us maybe through the steps on how you eventually ended up running the whole place?
Well, it took a few years, but I started in the sales side of things. I was responsible for the state government. And within about 5 years, I became a manager. And at some point in about 1990, my wife and I moved to the mainland with Xerox. I worked in the western region, Southern California, and had the opportunity to travel all around the West Coast. And at that time, I had lots of opportunities to run various operations within Xerox across the country. But Hawaii became available, and we both, Hawaii is our home, and we wanted to come back and raise our children here, which we didn't have yet, but that's what we ultimately did.
What do you think attracted Xerox to you as a leader to almost seems like train on the mainland for this position in Hawaii?
Well, Xerox is really on the forefront of many things. Technology, of course, that's been well documented, but also developing people and training them formally. And I really want to take advantage of those opportunities and also to be able to impart that on other employees and watch them grow through the organization. And in 27 years, I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to watch others really come on board, very inexperienced, but learn a lot and hopefully surpass me in many ways.
Was that in your plan when you initially started, was to run or be, the big honcho?
No, not really. I think, what was in my plan from a very early age was to be a leader of some sort. And even in, middle school, intermediate school at the time, it's something that I intrinsically wanted to do. And I didn't know in what sort of structure or format or what business, but that was there. The desire was there from an early age.
So it says here that you were born in Japan.
That's right. My mother's Japanese. My father's from Kentucky, which makes me a Japanese hillbilly. But I was born there. I lived there for the first 5 years of my life. And my father was in the military. So we lived all over the mainland. Although I lived in Hawaii for most of my 48 years. I think by the time I hit the 9th grade at Leilua High School, I had been to 13 different schools, ranging from Japan to Germany, or to Georgia, to Texas, to Washington, and of course Hawaii.
So when did you get this itch to become a leader? Was it when you were real young?
I think when I was probably about 12 years old, and since my father was in the military, that was the first thought I had, and I actually remember writing to West Point and wanting to be I used to read about generals and officers. And, of course, over time, that part of it changed.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.